How's it going, guys? How's it going? Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining, guys. How was your trading day? We're gonna give it a few minutes for people to join. You know, some people like to show up late. We'll talk about the markets, where we at, where we can head to. Why should I be long? Why should I be bearish? Right? All that. Yeah, I'm gonna answer to your questions in chat on the stream. I'm just gonna put my tag right there, and also on YouTube for people that are joining through YouTube. I'll be looking at the chat a little later than it has a little bit more of delay, but I'll still look at it. I hope you guys get some setups for me. If you have any questions about a play, or if you have a particular stock to look at to see where, I focus a lot of intraday trades, but they always come from analyzing daily charts for swings. So I always try to look for setups that are 1 or 2 days ahead. So if you got any of them, I'm gonna go all over them at the end of the stream. ¿Qué onda, Dr. Sus? For some people I don't know, I speak Spanish. So if you have questions in Spanish, I got them too. And let's see. I mean, we got some stuff. Think I don't know. Everybody that shorted today is very happy. I think it was a very good down day. I'm just gonna give it 3 more minutes for people to join. And I spotted it. I had a thesis that the market was gonna come down. Even though the day was set up for a possible break of an inside candle to the upside, I had a thesis, and the thesis got confirmed until like an hour in. Like very late, like more than an hour into the market, just by some internals. I'll explain you in a little bit. But Cloud's asking, are we retracing tomorrow? Up? I don't know. I hope not. The market is at a bounce back area. But I would like the market to drop. I have my bias set to, or no, there's a difference between what I see and what I want, right? What I want is the market to drop, but we'll see. We'll see what it has in store for us, because it is at a bounce back area, and I think that those are places where if you did not short at the key level of the highs, you're basically have a bigger risk and a smaller reward to keep shorting, right? But if it breaks, I mean, none of that will matter. You're still gonna get some money out of that. Says Dr. Sus says, shorted Meta and almost took your SPY put, but I didn't want more than one position while I was busy today. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I almost did not trade today because a lot of times whenever I take a trade and it doesn't go my way, it doesn't work out, I just completely quit for the day, right? I do it as a rule, but not all the time. It's if the opportunity is there, I should take it, right? But yeah, I'm one of those guys that today tried to short Tesla around the open, and Tesla just went up another 5 points or whatever it did. So did not go my way. So yeah, I think we gave it enough minutes. 5 minutes is usually my max. But yeah, I mean, Tesla looks. I know it had a huge gap up, and I was like, since my thesis was down for the day, I was thinking that Tesla will follow suit, right? And it did not. It went the opposite way of the market. Had its own thing going on, and kudos to it, right? Uh, it went higher. I did not have levels. I had levels up to those highs, but I did not expect it to go that higher. So I ended up taking a loss on it. But at some point, I was down 70%, and I had a full position on, and I took a 15% loss at the end. So that was very good for me. I did not swing into tomorrow because I don't swing weeklies unless they're lottos, and that was not a lot of position at all. Um, all right, let's start. Thank you for joining, guys. I appreciate your time. And I was on vacations, like I said. I spent a week and more than a week on vacation in Cancun. It was very good, very refreshing. Tiring. I mean, refreshing, mentally refreshing, but I'm tired physically. Um, I gained 6 pounds even after walking all day, every day, and swimming a lot. But I ate like a pig. I ate so much. There was no moment. There was not a drink on my hand. I was eating so much. Yeah, I mean, I gained 6 pounds in a week, so it means that I mean, I ate a lot. We'll see. A lot of that will be liquids and me holding up sodium, right? So in a couple of days, so I'll know my true weight. But yeah, yeah, I went from no, I actually went gained almost 8 pounds. I went from 181 pounds to 188, almost 189. So yeah. Anyway, so it was a lot, and it was. I went to one of those all inclusive hotels, and a lot of fancy restaurants, and my girl wanted to go to all of them. So anyway, back to the markets, guys. Back to the market. Let's focus. So, uh, so where are we at? Let's look at the daily right here on the futures market. This is ES, and as some of you know, we have a gap above us on ES on the futures market right here. And if you look at SPX, the cash market has a gap on a different place, right? Which is right here. It's basically the same area. Just I believe the contract changes makes a little bit of a difference, but I call this what's been happening uh, bulls with big old blue balls. That's what I call it. And I don't know how to explain it, but basically, I mean, there was a ton of reasons to go higher, because we have a gap. We are breaking the trend line, the market should be had a retracement, should be going higher after this candle. So I think a lot of the bulls are living a little bit unsatisfied because it's just not happening, right? Not a lot of upside targets are just not being met. I think um today, oh, look at my alert right here. I'm gonna get rid of this. So today, I mean, I'm gonna talk about the past, but it's gonna serve us in the future, right? We had an inside candle today from yesterday's action compared to the prior one, and basically the trade was set up to whatever extreme gets taken out, which is if it would have traded this high, it would have been going higher, and if it takes out this low, it goes lower, right? So we ended up taking the low. The the opening did not. I mean, it was getting rejected above it, right? So I was still skeptical about the downside after these rejections until this very candles like this, and it makes a difference because the market at that point. I'll show you this right here. It's a little indicator that I have. It shows on the bottom the weighted and unweighted sectors, and when the market is correlated to the downside, these things will kind of pair up, right? The bars on the line right here. The line is unweighted sectors and the bars are the weighted sectors. So right here at this drop, if you see at the beginning, I'm sorry. Let me actually make it bigger because it's probably too small for y'all. Um, all right. So at the beginning of the drop right here, we see some bearishness on the market and we see this line going further down than the bars, right? So that means that unweighted sectors, which is utilities, staples, energy, other names, industrials, other names are that do not weight that much are going down, but not the ones that weight, which is technology, communications, healthcare. They're still holding up, and after this drop, You know, when we get this big candle like this, when we see this candle like this, we know that the weighted sectors are now participating on the downside. So it's one of the things that made me feel like, okay, I just gotta find an entry at that point, to short the market, because even though we have not taken the low at this point of the prior day, the path at that moment, at around half of the day done, it's probably, we're already heading down, so it's probably gonna head down to take out the low and see how far it goes, right? Because it went more than I thought it would go. Because a bullish thing that the market could have done right here was basically drop into this BPOC right here, which is like the I believe Tuesday session. So the market, and it kind of tried to, right, trying to kind of try to bounce right here. So even though the market dropped and met my targets right here, it went lower like that. So it's kind of changing the perspective of what it's doing, right? So even like I say, even though it was coming down and this was a target for the short side, if it would have picked up right here, I would have be all over going long, long, long. More breaks and whatnot. But it went lower. There still is a few reasons for this to go up, but this one right here is basically, uh, that the whole retesting the BPOC and whatnot of Tuesday is gone. That is gone. So going back to this, to the daily right here, we see that, I'll tell you right now, like if you want to put it in a list, the reasons to go to be bearish right now is because we're placing a lower high after making this peak, and after making this higher low, which, because this is a low, this is a higher low, we're now making a lower low compared to this low. So in terms of the daily candle structure, we're breaking the upside structure, which was a set of higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher highs, higher low, and then lower high, lower low. So now it's a breakout structure. Now we're heading the opposite direction, right? So in other words, we were going like this, and now we're probably gonna hit like this according to structure, right? Now that's a bearish stance on technical speaking, right? On technicals. Now the market does have chance to turn around. That's why you cannot be full on bearish, but it is. I mean, it is. Um, I mean, personal bias, guys, and don't go by my personal bias. You build your own, right? Personal bias is this market should go lower, but we'll see what happens. We're still at this above the daily 20 MA, and you guys know that I use this a lot for bounce back areas, right? You'll notice that the market likes to bounce or reject the daily 20 a lot, right? As seen on this examples right here on SPX. So we can still trade lower into the daily 20 right here, and then bounce right here. So even though it changed the structure, it can be just a retest of the daily 20. It got ahead of itself, right? So if the market were to trade a little more sideways into it, you can make it push higher, right? So we can still bounce back right there. If I'm still short, those will be areas for me to probably cut him or attempt a small long side. We'll see. We have the JPM color trade right here, the 4065. So we know that JP Morgan every quarter sells a ton of calls at a certain strike. This is the strike, and dealers at this point do not have to have a what's it called, hedges against the position, right? Whoever dealt, the dealers, the market makers that dealt this position, will have to hedge more. So it means that they will have to sell SPY shares or S&P futures if we start trading below this level right here. So, and as lower we go, the more hedges they're gonna be getting, right? So this is basically, if we start turning bearish, we'll be adding fuel to the fire. We already know that Car I can place a trade for like 40 million or something. He's already up 40%. I don't know how much money he put in, right? But that's market makers right now have to hedge against that position, right? So that's so that's something to note for, right? So we know that I was looking at the daily right here, and I know that it traded from this leg down. I know it traded about the 620 on this one, but I find it very noticeable that the day of today is basically between the 620 and the 65. So that's a bearish point right here. And like I said, we can bounce right here. Let me look at this. Oh, I remember right now. I wanted to talk about the weekly. So having an inside candle on the daily, it's a rare instance for the market. That's something rare. Um, Having a double inside candle on the daily, it's even more rare, right? That's why I believe that today did not end up as an inside candle. We ended up breaking the lower range and even going lower, right? Now having an inside candle on the weekly, it's also rare. Is not it's not super uncommon, right? I mean, it's not very common, but it can happen. I'm not gonna say it never happens. It does happen, but it's just very rare, right? So if we think on probabilities, at this point, from the weekly candle perspective, let's say this is the last weekly candle range right here. We are below the 50% mark, so we are closer to breaking the bottom range of the candle of the last week range than we are to breaking the upper end, right? With only one trading day left, so this is gonna be hard to pull off, right? But if the market does turn very bearish, I will think that it's coming down to take out this low right here, and possibly have some candle that ends up being like this on the weekly, right? Just a little bit, taking out the low a little bit, like this, right? So it's something that I'm gonna be looking for. Like if we start accelerating to the downside, like we don't hold the daily 20, we start breaking lower. This is basically the low that I'll be looking at the daily to be taken out, right? So something to watch out for that, right? That will be that as another bearish point for me to be a seller on this market. So we got a break of structure. A If we trade lower than this, a, hedgers have to sell against their position on the JP Morgan color trade, and losing the daily 20 is big, and the weekly candle low, right? So those are my bearish points on the SPX. If we end up having let's say if we should be bullish, then it's the other way around, right? um, as we get afar from this point, from this price, dealers will unload hedges, so they will have to buy back their shorts. If our car icon is wrong and he unloads his position, dealers have to buy back their shorts that are hedging against that position. We have the daily 20, and we can always trade as a doji candle, right, on the daily, because remember that CPI is on Monday, right? I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. CPI is on Monday, right? So I'm not sure. I'll have to check. But if the market is gonna take a neutral stance, you know, a somewhere where I don't know where I'm gonna go. Is the CPI? It can go both ways, whatever. You can have basically an inside candle on the weekly and a doji on the weekly as well, right? So we end up closing where we open on the weekly right here. So it will mean that Friday will be a bullish day. I like to think, actually, not that I like to think. I see that the market uh does so. Okay, CPI is on February 14th, so that's Tuesday. Okay, I like to think that the market actually takes a boat into CPI or into any major event before it happens. And if the boat is starting, then the boat is downside. They're expecting a hotter CPI, whatever, a higher inflation. So we keep an eye on that, right? Um, Fib perspective for the weekly, you should be grabbing it from this candle low to this candle high. So going back to, if this low gets taken out, I will be aiming to like the 618 retracement, which is 4,004, right? We end up taking this weekly candle low into this right here. Now, let's say that tomorrow does nothing and the weekly candle is like this. That's gonna offer us setups for the next week on coming into Monday to see if we take out this low or this high to go higher or lower, right? I'll probably, I'll favor the downside. So So this will be some kind of short target onto this area. I know February 17 it's OPEX, I believe is next OPEX, right? That's also gonna play a role because the max pain for the market for February 14 is for SPX at 4,000. You know, so we have all this data, all these little things that we know about the market, and we can make some conclusion out of it. Some kind of trading decision. I have a friend that is playing butterflies and credit plays into 4,000 SPX for Friday on February 17th. Yeah, for OPEX expiration. So we got that right. I want to show you guys something on the futures that may be bullish, and I think is this major trend line on the weekly. If you guys had this trend line, everybody's had it. Uh, I believe. Let me see. Let me add a little more. Okay, something messed up with my charts. I don't know why this is not connected to the highs. Oh, I know why. I'm sorry. I know why. Because I went off with this trend line a little while ago. I changed it to this. I know we had a major trend line, but every time you have a peak like this, you have to utilize it in some shape or form, right? To see if we have uh, something that the market. I know it had these peaks right here, but let's say you cannot forget about it, right? Like the market will have like I know it has memory, but let's say that the memory changes, right? So I had this peak right here, and it helped me. It helped me back here to short. I know it went a little bit above it, but it helped me back here to short after connecting those dots, right? It's just a little bit of connecting dots, nothing big. But I like to point out that we are testing this to the upside right here. I'm actually bouncing off of it to the point that it's doing it like when I saw this happening on the 5 minute chart, I was like, okay, this might be indication that there's something happening at this area. I don't know what it is, right? But I do have some kind of intersection of the uptrend right here, of the downtrend right here. So could this be a test of this to actually go higher? It could be. So that's a bullish point for you to go for, right? So like I said, we have the list of stuff, right? I tend to lean bearish, but I'll let the market prove me right or wrong, right? I'll know I'm for sure bearish until I see a daily candle close below the daily 20, until we get the last week low taken out, all the good stuff, right? Um, so we'll see what happens. I see, I see, I see your levels, book cloud. I see them. I see your levels, and I like them. So there's that. Let's see what else. Let's go to NDX real quick. I think I don't have anything on the NDX. Um, I did a quick analysis on ES only, which helped me a lot in the morning. Um, NDX was still far from the daily 20. Let's see, closing below the 50%. Weekly at the lows at the daily at the weekly 50. Gaps on fill. Break breakout. Major breakout. Now coming back, could it be a retest of the breakout? That would be a huge drop though, to test that trend line. That's the cleanest trend line. And a lot of times the answers in the queues. Um, the answers in the queues a lot of times. I think we're far from the daily 20. We're basically bouncing a little bit out the 50% retracement. No candle close below it. Could still be a. It's hard. It will be hard. This is a retest of this level right here. Basically, this right here. Almost, not exactly at. So I still don't buy it. I think Accused could drop further into at least a 618, retest this breakout right here, or this breakout, and then possibly go higher if the move's gonna be higher, right? So we'll see. How's the weekly on this? Yeah, there's just not a lot of bearishness is still in there, for me to call like, oh, this is the top. We're gonna start dwindling down. Hopefully it is, right? But it's not there. I'll let you guys when it has shown clear signals like this is it. Not there yet. Not there yet. It's still below the 20% decline from all time, so it's still in bear market. We'll see. As for sectors on the S&P 500, I was looking at some of them. Like we still have like inside candles, inside days, stuff like that. Um, you notice from my little watch list right here that the only green was semiconductors with 4.40% higher. I think it was due to the Nvidia. Was it Nvidia or AMD? Nvidia was red. AMD. AMD's red. Wolf. AMAT. MU. I have no idea why SMH is like. It's green, but it's green. I guess it's just the recovery. I don't know. Um, so for sectors, right? So XLY looks somewhat bearish. I think this is being held up a lot by Tesla, right? But seeing the rejection around the 50% retracement of this drop into going lower, extended from the daily 20, I think the 10% extension goes into this. Like if we end up dropping, it will make sense to drop into this level right here, right? Right here as kind of as a retest on the weekly. So something that it broke out of. If you see a lot of weekly reactions right here, right? So this sector, the consumer discretionary, could be one that could do some kind of retest of this level on the weekly time frame. The weekly is still super inside of the last week range, so that's something to know for. And this one is very close to a 618, so it's closer to break the lower end to the upper end. XLP XLP on the weekly time frame looks very bearish, like this. It's making its lower legs like this. So is this below is 618 on the bull side? Yeah. So this could potentially go lower. Where could it go to? You know, 10% extension right here. It's a level with, yeah, this level right here. So consumer staples have some downside to go for on the weekly time frame. That one's looking bearish right now. In fact, I think Walmart is green. Is green and a very good place to short probably if this thing's gonna come lower. Yeah. Um. Let's see. XLF doing a retest of this breakout could potentially hold about this high right here. Daily 20 right here, so it's a little bit bearish, but not too far. It's gonna be met with support and buy a buy area right away. XLE bearish. It's a bearish setup right here. Rejection of the daily 20. It's still about the 50% retracement, so you have to see XLE below the 85s, 50s to actually think that this is actually breaking down lower. But as of now, like this had some kind of upside record structure now, new regime now to the downside. So energy could be coming down. XLK, like we talk about, um, this one. This one actually broke the upper end of the last weekly candle high, so this one is not that bearish, and is testing this candle high right here as a test. Oh, it already did actually. It's coming down after a test and not going higher, so that's bearish. That's bearish. XLU. Utilities are bearish right here. That's selling pressure for the market, but it's such a small sector it doesn't matter. And since it's a defensive sector, it's not a bearish indication, right? But if a lot of the days when the market sells off like heavily, no sector will be green, right? Not even utilities against uh, technology and whatnot, right? Industrials. Industrials are still in pullback mode. It's still close above the daily 20. Um, Looking like RSI is diverging at those highs. So this could be reversing right here to the downside. I'll keep monitoring this because some people want to short Caterpillar. Boeing could be shortable if this fails, right? It's still be inside their last weekly candle like this. So we'll keep an eye watch on that. Uh, wow, healthcare is bearish, and even after ABV earnings were very bullish, right? If I believe. Um, so healthcare is bearish. Top of the daily candle right here is the daily 20 and turnaround. This lows get taken now. I could see healthcare coming down into this lows right here. So that's looking bearish right here. Um, well, that's bearish. Okay, materials at the daily 50. It's probably gonna be, yeah, not. I don't see any indication of materials. It's such a lightweight sector. It was a very bearish candle, but I don't have a trade there. Communications. This one is very interesting, right? Communications was one of the biggest down days today. It's 2.19% down. And I think Snap and Google and all that feel the downside in communications, and it's just very bearish. And it had a gap to fill. It already did. It's coming even lower than that. It's still gonna be met with a daily 20, so watch out for that. I think you notice we're still inside the prior weekly range. We're gonna see if we take out this low in the weekly time frame. We're very very closer on this one to taking it out. So stuff like Netflix, Roku, Disney, stuff like that on communications is, I mean, it's gonna feel the downside on it, right? Meta, some of the people are on Meta puts, so I know we have a trade setup right there. Where it's a huge gap fill. It's super hard to. I mean, I know I can do it, but I mean, have to be realistic, right? How fast can a gap fill go, right? And a lot of times you have to go for at least be nimble and take like 50% of the gap, right? So it will be something of this level right here. You know, I'll be nimble, right? And I don't think a daily candle. I mean, who knows? I could be totally wrong. What if a daily candle is like this? That'll be huge, right? But no, I would probably if I get a good put position on Meta, I'll be very wary at the 50% of this gap right here, right? At least. So so watch out, right? Like depends on if you're holding weeklies. What is your time frame outlook? This daily 20 is gonna be met before the gap fill happens, right? So I mean, kudos to you if that gap gets filled and you're in all the way. That'll be great, right? There'll be some huge gains on zero DTEs, right? So yeah, that's my outlook for all the sectors, which I think most of them look bearish. Um, Jets also had a negative 2% day. It's not part of the S and P's, but you'll see that if we are topping on airlines right here, if we see like consumer spending, like I don't know if anybody saw that chart of credit card debt against um, the savings of families and all that. The It's getting like people. It sounds like people are cannot let go of the lifestyle that they have, and they're going into debt. They're going into tapping into their credits to keep the lifestyle on, right? Instead of reducing it. So that could potentially cause some problems in the futures, and stuff like discretionary travel, hotels, and all that is gonna get hurt, right? In the future. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Uh, it says Okami says I play more of the double inside candle from 2-3 to 2-6. Is that a meta? Meta had a double inside candle? Oh yeah. I had a look. It had a double inside candle, and it fell break to the downside because it was this was inside private range like this. This inside this, and it broke to the downside right here, and it did not go anywhere. It broke to the upside. It did not go. I did go up, but not that much, right? You would have more chances of making profit if you took the break of the upside, the upper range. But this was such a fake out to the downside. Yeah. I hate when that happens because double inside candles represent a lot of range. In fact, we have a couple of double inside candles on the scanner, but they're not. I don't think they're tradable, which is ARE. I don't know what that is, and ROP. Um, I don't know what those are, but they have double inside candles, right? So maybe we can get some lottos on those names, right? Yeah, they're not really tradable. uh, now the options are sucky, sucky. All right. So I'm gonna go through suggestions now. If anybody wants to throw some at me, I see Book Cloud is throwing in Tesla. Go to Tesla. So I went short. I'll give you a little bit of disclosure. I went short today. It had a huge gap. I had a level right here from the past. I actually left a name on it, but it was not part of a gap by now, right? So um, let's see. So my thought process was that the market was going to go down and Tesla will join it, right? And it could at least tap the prior day high. So given that we had this high as a rejection on our support, I will be looking at this level a lot right here, which is 202, 203, 203 right here. This high is right here, which is this support on after hours. Um, I think that if we end up opening higher and it start rolling down, that will be a target for me to the downside, which was my target for today. I did not have it. I saw that the market was super extended to the downside. I got out of my puts right here. And let's see. On the daily, it's super extended to the upside. So level by level, to me, it seems like this is a very bullish breakout. It's too high up on the year. What is it? It went up all the way to 111% from the lows, and it's right now 105.4% from the lows. Hugely up. But really, for me, there's no trade. The only trade setup that I see is going for this high. You know, after that, you have to ask yourself, right? How how much can you get out of it? You know, how much more can you get out of it? You know that this is a big resistance right here. It was a support right here. Resistance, 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 support, take out or break out like this on a one hour time frame. But on the daily, let's say something like this, you will probably still come down and test this, You can still come down to 197.58 or so. So a trade could be below this day low. You will go into this other day's highs. And if it goes lower, I will take it into 198, which is this level right here. 198. Further than that, I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's I had a wrong read today. I don't know what to say. I'm probably gonna stay away from Tesla. Man, you missed it. I was going through all the sectors and I said everything's bearish. But I actually been in situations where everything's bullish and the next day is bearish. Or everything's bearish and the next day is bullish. So Yeah, this, and I'm in a few stocks groups on Facebook, and I was seeing today at the highs a ton of screenshots of people celebrating gains. Did they get out? I have no idea. A lot of Robinhood screenshots, and I don't really participate on those groups. I just keep it for like market sentiment, very topish signal when that happens. And yeah, we did Meta. I mean, I was talking about that XLC is one of the most bearish sectors today, and actually was down 2.20%. So Meta, Google, and Pins and Snap, all those names were just coming down lower. And did I just see XLF dump? I think I just, sorry, my right screen, I have XLF. I don't know what happens. Let me look at it real quick. Why is XLF on the gutters? Let me see. It looks like somebody threw a, I don't I don't know what's going on. Probably I mean, I already checked all the banks, the big ones. I have no idea. Hmm. That's a huge drop. 3% drop. That ain't normal. It keeps dumping. I don't know. No, something, I don't know. Something's going on. I don't know what it is. Let me see if there's news. No, sorry. News on the pre-market. I have no idea. If somebody has any info on this, let me know, because this is. I just saw it on my right screen. I was like, what is going on? I don't see any specific stock dropping with it heavily. It's an ETF, so I don't know. Oh, I was keeping track of the comments on YouTube, but no, yeah, nobody has put anything. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Okay, let's see. There must be a glitch in the matrix. It's after hours. This is very very weird, to be honest. Um, Maybe we'll see the effects of it tomorrow or something. Um, let's see. The next suggestion is IWM. So IWM. Let's look at IWM. I usually go through all IWM on my analysis for this, right? So we have a tag of the daily 20 at the lows exactly, right, to the penny. That's why it's such an important level. Their weekly candle is still inside prior week, so if we end up gonna if we're gonna take out a range for tomorrow, I favor the downside range because it's only one trading day left, and you're meaning to take out this low, right? If we are gonna end up taking the weekly candle low, if we have an inside candle, then next week we're gonna have a very good setup for IWM. I think that it can still be making a retest of this breakout, and I'm sorry, forget about all these lines. In fact, um, let me just do new lines. So you do have this big level right here that that the market could be retesting, before it goes higher. So if it's gonna have a bounce back area, it should be doing it right here on the weekly time frame, which is like a break and retest, go higher like right here, right? So this could be, if we end up having a daily candle close below it, then I will favor further downside into this, right? Um, Let me see. Yeah, we're basically breaking a trend line with this candle, but you still need to break a few more levels like this. The weekly time frame does have a fib retracement, starting from this low to this high, which just you're still around the 50% mark. And if you do a fib retracement from the last low into this one, be like a monthly retracement, you can still test those other retracements around like the 184.84 or so up to here, right? Maybe a test of the weekly 20 May right here, which it bounced right here. So just I do not favor longs on the market, obviously, but if there was a place for a bounce, it is right here. It is right here, and then next suggestion I have. I got Zim, but let's do Google real quick. Google. I think it was driven by news, right? But obviously, we're gonna have some technical trades in between. So let's see. I was actually aiming. I had this weekly trend line right here, and I was thinking back when it was climbing back here that if it ever hits this trend line, I was gonna short. It did not. It's coming down a little bit below. A little before it, he already took out the last weekly candle high and then this weekly candle low. So it's a three candle. And can he? Some people are long into this. Some people are long into Google, and I know there's some kind of urge for longing something like counter trending it because it's going too far down. But honestly, like I see a good support right here, 94. 94 offers a good support right here. It could make a bounce a base or something. For yeah, you like if you would like to see this to go around. I know sometimes you see this level like 94 or so, and a lot of times you think like, oh, you want to buy it right away, right? Because just like what happened right here, right? Like if you look at this 94 in the past, if you long it right at the first touch, you're basically up immediately and a lot. Yeah. So yeah, if you did, so it is a big level. I think I mean it is preferable to have some kind of like a little bit like a long structure to confirm a trade. But this is something that I would say that the there's two types of traders, right? You can be bold and buy the first time it touches. You see the level and you take it. You're gonna be up immediately, or you can be the and it could potentially chop you out and you can get out the position early, which when the market then takes off. Or you can be the type of trader that goes in that sees this kind of a structure and then goes after, right? You're gonna miss the gains because you did not join from 94, but you can actually uh uh not get chopped out and enjoy your position, right? After being confirmation. But you never know. This, I mean, what if you took that waited for that little structure at this low, you know? Yeah. Yeah, that Nike, I have a position, full disclosure, so I'm gonna tell you this thing should burn to the ground. I still do. And look at my drawings. That's when you know you have a position. A lot. But I have not looked at Nike. I think Nike for me does have a. I'm short since here, dude. Since here, I'm short. So I mean, I'm still down on the position, but it's whatever. I think ways down, but I'm biased. Obviously, I have my position right. I think that the market should have dropped from here, but it didn't. Okay, whatever. It did. In fact, what I was playing may not be in play. It's still in play on the weekly because it was a weekly rejection. It's still in play, but I see a new setup, which is basically yes. This is yeah. Blow off top with distribution pattern, divergence on the RSI, touch at the daily 20 rejection, coming down lower. Yes, that's a setup that I did not join this play because of this, obviously, because I'm short since here. But now that I see it, I'm like, okay, let's take it even further down, right? Like what? Yeah. So stuff like this is something that I look for, right? I think if you look past to the weekly right here, you'll look at this like at least a retracement, to see if you can take it lower. What once I mean, you can even pull it further. Let's say when the last weekly trend went higher, right? And this is usually like I have a couple of perspectives. Like I try to do this perspective first, and this tells me that if we at least gonna pull him back to the 50%, we got room into 116.50. 116.48 or whatever it is right here. So there's some good gains, some good gains. And since it's coming out of a distribution pattern, it can do it quick. Um, I'll point you to an example of something that distributes is like that, like AVVV, you know, where you have this distribution pattern blow up top right here, and what happens when you distribute? You come down heavily, right? This is an earnings candle. Wow, this is the earnings candle. Last time I saw it was like this, like all the way over here. What? So anyway, yeah, this is how it looks after you do a little blow off top and then start distributing all the way down. So Nike is on watch, right, heavily. We have a huge gap right here. Yeah, yeah, on the weekly. Yeah, yeah, I have this one. I've been watching it a long time because it was. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, basically, that's what I was playing initially. That's why I went short right here because this thing, and I bought some time because of that. It better work soon because I am running out of time. But yeah, so yeah, basically, this what became support is now resistance, and we may trade lower, right? And hopefully, super low, baby. Bring me some tendies. And yes, yes, I'll look at that. I'm gonna go off of LAC. Is Terry still here? Yes, LAC first, since he asked me first. So LAC, what do I see in LAC? Let me see. I think I only traded this once. Let me do a little quickie. So you had a break of the trend line right here. That's pretty huge. Let's actually code it right here off of these weekly candles like this. You had a test of it. You left a gap. We left a gap. You left. I don't know who, but there's a gap right here. This is having some very nasty wicks up the highs. I don't know if you're long or short. This is a lithium play, so very sounds like very EV play based on batteries and whatnot. Let me see at the twos. I like this one on the 2 day chart. So you have this 2 day candle like this. Um, yeah. If this load gets taken out, I will probably be aiming for this other low right here. So I think that it should have. This is a failure to go higher, I believe. This is probably gonna come down to fill this gap right here. So just to monitor it right here. I don't know if you're looking for long. So you would like to see this. Yeah, you would like to see this hold up right here about this trend line. You would like to see this gap get filled and not further down. Give me 1 second. Just 1 second. Let me answer this phone call real quick. All right. Sorry. I'm back. So yeah, that's what I will go for. This is just doesn't look very longish right here. Um, for bulls, he already had the breakout like this. Buying this right here, the test of this trend line would have been a nice long right here, but it's having failure to go higher. Let's go for cost real quick. So XL, I am bearish on XLP right now, but is cost at a bounce back area? It is. Daily 20 is right here. Let me answer this text real quick. All right. All right. So Costco on the weekly. Let's see. It's at the 50%. So yeah, look, this is a setup, right? 50% on Costco and the daily 20 is right here. This is a potential buy area for longs, right? You would like to see some kind of green candle right here to start taking this to the upside, like this. So it does have I'm bearish on XLP, but this is actually an area will Costco could bounce right here. It could be a bull flag, for going higher, since it's a combination of the daily 50, daily 20 and 50% retracement is very bullish. It's usually a risk on area, right? Not that it's very bullish. If it ends up bouncing, it is very bullish, right? But it's usually you can risk this, right? MS Morgan Stanley. So, whoa, I haven't used red lines like this in a while. So this is a huge level from the past, a blast from the past. So let me look at this on the weekly. Oops. Okay, still inside prior weekly range. There was a huge distribution right here on Morgan Stanley in the past. I couldn't tell you right here where the point of sell is, right? Obviously, somewhere at the highs. Are you looking for longs or shorts? Because, this is this has a little bit of divergence right here. If you notice at this, no, actually no, it doesn't have that huge of a divergence. No, it's still good. This doesn't look that bearish. I will, like, if I was short into this, I will probably look for this level right here, and then this one, not that much. The biggest level that I see is this one right here. So if I was short this, I would probably take it into like the 95s. And obviously watch out for the daily 20 because it represented a bounce right here. So, all right. CRM. CRM, we had a nice trade before vacations on CRM on this candle high. Let me see, how far are you pulling back from? Close below the 618. So this is a 2 up, 2 down strike reversal. If we end up taking this low, I will be shorting CRM into this low right here. This low right here. If we end up taking this low right here, I will be a short for CRM into this low right here. That's a good setup, but it needs to take out this low. It's basically a 2 up, 2 down, a little doji right here, close below the 618, extended. Yeah, I'll be looking for that. It is closer to take out the last week high than the last week low, so watch out on that. That'll be very bullish. And Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to skip your pool party. Zim. I did not see your message. Oh, so this is a very bullish setup. Look at this. Bull flag, breakout of the bull flag. So you will want to see continuation of this going higher. Let's see this breakout started right here. Bounce on the 50. I will be looking at this gap fill to go for on Zim. If it starts going crazy, it already did some of it right here. So 50% of that gap I was taking into consideration always, which is, let's draw this 50% mark right here, like this, okay? So that could be a long target for Zim if you're long. 50% of the gap into the 10% extension. And if it starts going crazy, then a full gap fill into a 50% extension right here. So it is looking bullish. I think it's trading differently from what the market is doing, holding very high up. Looks good. Looks like a bull flag break on the daily. A little bit extended. I love bull flags that have like the retest of the on the daily 20 or something like that, but it can still happen, you know. So obviously this the way I would trade it is that I know this is a level right here. Um, Above this high, I will be looking for this high, and I'll be looking for the 10% extension, then this, and then the ultimately the gap fill right here. But it does look good so far. You want to see a little bit of the RSI to it went a little bit extended right here on the daily. So if it prints a high right here, it's probably gonna be divergent. So watch out for that, right? Like it could just print a high and start reversing down. And keep in mind the weekly 20. Weekly 20 is gonna be huge right here. So those are your levels right here. You're gonna have as levels 23, 2377, 2419, and 2546. You know, that's ultimate target 2546 for me. That's how much I will do. If you have if you notice, there's a rejection of the weekly 20. So if we end up having a weekly close above the daily 20, weekly 20, you can see further upside to next week. I hope that helps. And last but not least, because we ran out of time, is going to be NVIDIA. All right. NVIDIA. Oh, what a weekly candle. Super bullish right here. So got a daily. It's still bullish. Let's see. There's going to be a level right here. Okay, this is going to be a level right here. Right here as well. Okay. So for NVIDIA, if you short this, you would like to see this low get taken out. Not this one, not this these lows. Obviously, first things first, right? Once this low gets taken out, you look for this low right here. And this low is important because it represents a two up to down start reversal. In fact, if we go to the 2-day chart, it's probably what we have, right? We take out this low, then we have a 2 up, 2 down, where you will still be looking. We don't know if this is the full turnaround for NVIDIA. If it's only a pullback, you'll be looking to at least get something like the 32, which is 215, or 210. 210 is a 50% retracement of the 2-day chart, right? So I will look for 210s, possibly like the 211s, 31s. If this low gets taken out, so just place an alert. I'll probably day trade this tomorrow. If this gets taken out, I'll see if it has some bearishness, so you can trade into like 210s or so. Which is still a pullback, to probably go higher in the future, but there's some good gains to short NVIDIA. Semiconductors ended the only green thing in the market, so we'll keep an eye on that. All right, so I hope that helps, and I'm gonna be looking around what's up with XLF. Why is the bid on XLF all the way to 34.75? Why did it trade all the way down? That seems weird. Thank you for joining, guys. Thank you for being here, Prophet. Appreciate y'all's time. and hopefully we have a good lot of Friday tomorrow. I'm gonna be streaming at the end and see what happens. Right, we'll find another. Let's see if we can find another 400%er for tomorrow. Thank you guys. Have a good night and rest up. Let's see. Let me close